I look really tired. I didn't go to sleep. I just made this video. So I really hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah. Do you want your nails to stay on for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, forever? You never want to let them go? I struggled a lot with this. When I first started doing nails, like 8 years ago, I was 14? That doesn't seem right. I was in 8th grade. And in 7th grade, I got my nails done, and I was like, I can do that. Because my toxic trait, my red flag, is that I think I can do whatever I want. One time I was like, I can build a house. I cannot. I can do my own eyelash extensions. You're gonna burn your eyes out. So, but what I can do is I can do my nails. And it took me forever to figure it out. But my nails, they are on. They stay on. They never come off. I'll have people come in and I'm like, I haven't seen you in like a month and a half. Where have you been? Come in for a soak off. Damn. But that's because they do take care of their nails, you know? It's a two-way street. Thank you to them. If you want those nails to stay on, girl, I got you. So, I'm gonna give a little background because when I first started, I thought I could do anything. I was like, I can do nails. I got them done in 7th grade and I was like, I can do this. I saw them do it, I can do it. With my little money that I had as a 14-year-old working little 14-year-old jobs, I was like, let's buy an acrylic kiss kit from Walmart. And I just did it. Took me 8 hours. And after 8 hours, I had nails. And then 6 hours later, they all popped off. I had nothing. But I don't want that to happen to you guys. Because even after that, I didn't Google or YouTube anything. I just tried again and again and again. And then at one point I was like, well, I'm doing something wrong. So I was like, oh, it's the products. So I went on Amazon and I bought even worse shit. And that still didn't work. And I was like, oh, all right, let's Google. So I Googled, oh, primary dehydrator. What? I never heard about that. Let's buy it. So I bought it, used it, and it didn't work. I was upset. So I was like, I give up. I tried polygel. I tried dip. Tried so many other things except fiberglass, and at this point, Gel-X didn't exist. So I essentially tried everything I could. Nothing would work. But because I was doing everything wrong, I was doing everything very poorly. And I looked up how to do it, and I saw the video, and I was like, this is exactly what I do. I should be good. No, it's because there's details to the steps. The steps are too vague. They need to be very specific. Because you can put on acrylic, or you could put on acrylic that's going to last for 4 months. And I'm going to tell you how, because even after looking up stuff, I still did not get enough information to be able to do it properly. And it took me probably like 4 or 5 years to be able to get my acrylic to stay. And that is far too long. I would get them to stay like 2 weeks, but now they're not coming off, so that's what we like to hear. It's way more specific than you thought it would be. If your nails are not lasting, babe, don't worry, because it's like they're gatekeeping the information from you, honestly. It really feels that way. Because when they say like, oh, prep your nail, like push back your cuticle and buff it, they don't really get into detail. So we'll start with that one first. That's the first step. You got some fingers, you got some fingernails. They got nothing on them. Perfect. Let's prep them. I, tried and true, will always use this. This cuticle softener, so good. Feels a little icky. Feels a little cold and wet, but it's so worth it. Just use it. You've put that on your nails. You put that on your cuticles. Now you push them back. This right here, you're tried and true. You want something real sharp that'll scrape it off. Not too sharp though. Like that's crazy. But like you want to really, really scrape that cuticle off. You really want to get it off. Like really. All around all the edges, up the nail a little bit too. Now we're like, do we cut our cuticles? Please figure out the regulations for your state, because each state has different ones, and in some states it's illegal to cut your cuticles. Now no one's going to stop me from cutting my cuticles because I'm gonna cut my cuticles if I want to, but don't do anything too crazy. When I first was learning, I tore them bitches up, shredded them. Please don't do that. Learn properly. Go to school or something. Don't torture yourself. Don't torture other people either. If you are going to learn, torture yourself. But you didn't hear from me. You didn't get it from me. I didn't tell you to cut your cuticles. Don't cut your cuticles. So now that you've prepped it, you need a buff. You gotta buff. You gotta buff the whole surface. Every nook and cranny of that surface. You really, really, really gotta get in there. There can't be a single bit of nail that has not been buffed. When I say buff, I don't mean pull out the e-file and file your whole fingernail away. Don't do that. That's too much. That's overkill. You're gonna have no fingernail to work on. Right. I never really use the e-file. The only thing I use the e-file for is like piercings or when you want to get that really good like moon shaped like square tip. And even then you can get with a nail file. So like I never really use an e-file. I use it for removals. Sometimes I use it if I didn't lay a bead down really well and it stayed there. But don't do it. Just don't. I use 180 grit nail file. I have one that's 100 on one side and 180 on the other side. I'd recommend 80 for shaping acrylic. This is the one that I use. It's nice and curved so you can really get into the cuticle, as you can see. Please use it. Please use it. It literally is so good, and I use the little corners too, sometimes really, really get in there, because if you don't get in the depths, they're going to sneak up on you. They're going to find you, and they're going to rip all your nails off. Hardest step over. And now you're like, I gotta put tips on. Nail glue never lasts as long as my acrylic does. So what I do is I like to dehydrate my nails before I put the glue on. Now I glue the tips on. You have to make sure that the edge of the tips are the same size as your fingernail. You don't want the tip hanging off. You don't want the tip too short because that's going to create space where it can lift. But now you got tips on. And now what do? You dehydrate again. Dehydrate again. Just do it. It's okay because you've already filed and shaped those tips and now there's dust everywhere. Wipe it off and just dehydrate again. It doesn't hurt anybody. Nobody. Now you're going to prime. Use me a secret. It's not the most expensive thing ever and you don't need it to be because my nails last forever and I don't use anything too expensive. I don't go crazy. Once you put the primer on, your nails are going to be a little bit sticky. Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything. It's not like gel. It won't stick that bad, but it's not. Just don't do it. Keep your hands on the table. Now you got prepped, tips, dehydrated, primed. Now it's time to lay the acrylic. This part is intimidating because it's the part that I feel like you really have to get used to. You really gotta feel it. Same thing with the cuticles. Once you approach different hands, there's different amounts of cuticle on the fingernail that you have to remove. But the acrylic can be intimidating. I like to work from the tip to the cuticle. Don't have to. No matter what direction you work in, just focus on the cuticle bead. When you place it, it should be wet. It should be moist. Because you really, if it's dry, throw it away. You don't use it. Get rid of it. It won't do what it needs to do. And this is where your brush is very important. You want a brush that has a very nice fine tip. Oof, look at her. You also want to take good care of your brushes. Because a messed up brush will give you messed up nails. And I was using a messed up brush for a long time. And I was like, damn, my acrylic is bad. No. Sometimes it's your tools. Sometimes you are not upgrading because of your tools. Because this little fine edge right here is what you're going to use to really press, solidify, tamp down that like wet acrylic. You know, you're going to guide it. You're going to guide it around your cuticle. You're just going to press it around the edges. This is a little bit difficult. You'll get used to it. Don't worry. Please make sure you get all edges. Whoop, the whole thing. Because if you leave a little edge here, you already know what's going to happen. You did it. You did it. You did it. You did the biggest things. And now it's time to file. I don't like using an e-file, and I'm going to say it again. I don't ever really use it. If you want to use it, that's fine. Just be careful when you go around the cuticle area with it because it's strong. It's a powerful tool, and I don't believe it's really necessary. I did nails throughout middle school and high school, and I was broke. I was a child. I am a child now. I'm still broke now, and e-files are expensive, and so I did not have one. So I always use nail files. I just think an e-file is a little unnecessary. I don't think it really cuts down on much time. unless you're removing or doing piercings from there, something. I don't know. You know, there are some things it's good for. Oh, getting underneath the nail too. But like, why are you putting an acrylic underneath there? That's not the point though. Flips and 100 side. That is when I use around the cuticle, just to kind of settle it, make sure it's all even, really seal it. I don't like that because if you overfile the cuticle too much, it can start to crack and lift, and then problems again. So just a few swipes through, you know. So you want to look good, and now you've done a magnificent job. You've really done it, and them bitches are gonna stay. They are. Don't fuck it up because now you're gonna paint. And gel can smell fear. Again, I'm telling you, it told me because once you put it down, it wants to go wherever it wants to go. It's self-leveling, as they say. And boy, will it self-level. It'll level right into your cuticles. Don't let it flood the cuticles because once it does, you really can't get it out well. I keep a brush with me with acetone or isopropyl alcohol to wipe it away because it will happen. You can't avoid it. It's unavoidable. But it'll slide back in there. It will. It knows. It's already been there. It'll do it again. To avoid this, I use thin coats and I paint in a specific order. So if you want to do all 5 fingers at one time, like say you're doing a base coat or a top coat, paint these 4 first. These 4. Because if you paint the thumb first, all your gel down your thumb, crazy, right? Paint these 4 first, paint the thumb, make sure they're angled down when you paint them, not up, because then gel down your hand. Put it in the lamp right away, because you don't want that gel on the thumb to start moving. Little pro tip, turn that thumb in the light. Like you can, like when it's placed down on top, you can rotate your thumb. It's possible. You're done painting. You did it, babe. File again. File the edges. Right up in there. Ooh, right up in there. Right there. And then while I do this to each finger, I also look at all my cuticles to make sure none of my cuticles have flooded with gel if I didn't notice. And when I see if it has happened, I take out my e-file. Yeah, I take it out. And I use on a very low setting. And I use the little like domed shaped bit. Much smaller, not this big. And I go around in the cuticle. While I was doing my nails for this video, it didn't happen. And so I didn't simulate it or make a video for it. But also, hopefully I have enough tips so it doesn't happen. But it is pretty self-explanatory. You just kind of gently go around the cuticle and you file away anything that flooded so that it's back in uniform. If the cuticle floods and you keep the gel there, water's nail's worst enemy. They like don't go together. They hate each other. You took a shower and it starts getting underneath and nail gone. You got this. I really hope that this was detailed enough. You were able to fully grasp everything you needed to. If even after this video it doesn't work for you, keep going because you'll do it, you know? This is the set, by the way. Been doing it for 8 years. Don't give up. Because if your nails are falling off, don't worry. I've been there. I was there for years. So you got it. You got it, babe. Go. I hope it helped.